Hello everybody, this session is going to be on rheumatic fever. In this topic, we will first see the definition of rheumatic fever, and from the definition, we will try to understand the pathogenesis of rheumatic fever and the mechanism. So first, the definition. As a definition, you can say rheumatic fever is a multisystemic, non-suppurative inflammatory disease resulting from autoimmune reaction to infection with group A beta hemolytic streptococci, principally affecting heart, joints, CNS, that is central nervous system, skin and subcutaneous tissue. So in this long definition, each and every word has its own meaning. So let's break down the definition and see what is happening there. What is the mechanism of the disease? So first, what happens from environment? This is a host who is having some streptococcal infection, that is the bacteria is entering in the host body and causing upper airway infection, that is streptococcal pharyngitis. This host has streptococcal pharyngitis. Now just like all other infection, it will activate the immunologic system, and the immunologic system will try to destroy the bacteria. Now let's see in the definition. The most important part in the definition is it is an inflammatory disease resulting from autoimmune reaction to infection with group A beta hemolytic streptococci. So it is an autoimmune disease. Now autoimmune reaction means our immune system is reacting with body's own antigens. Now what happens? The immunologic system, when activated by streptococcal pharyngitis, it targets M protein and N-acetyl glucosamine of streptococcal carbohydrate to destroy it. In maximum cases, in maximum individuals, it only destroys the bacteria. But in 3 to 5% of host, in 3 to 5% of genetically susceptible host, what happens? This immunologic mechanism by molecular mimicry attacks the body's own antigens, because it cannot differentiate between the bacterial antigen and the body's own antigen. So what happens? The immunologic reactions, it attacks our heart, central nervous system, joints, skin and subcutaneous tissue, causing multisystemic inflammation. That is, it is more attacking more than one system. So it is causing multisystemic inflammation, and this inflammation is causing the fever, which is called the rheumatic fever. So now the first attack of streptococcal infection causing acute rheumatic fever, and if there is recurrent infection with streptococci, that is specifically group A beta hemolytic streptococci, or there is continuous infection with this streptococci, this strain of streptococci, that will cause recurrent rheumatic fever, which will majorly damage our heart, joints, central nervous system and skin and subcutaneous tissue. In heart, it causes carditis. In joints, it causes polyarthritis, that is causes inflammation in more than one joints. In CNS, central nervous system, it causes chorea, and in skin and subcutaneous tissue, they are also inflamed. So mostly which organ is mostly affected is the organ which is mostly affected is the joint. The inflammation of joints are called polyarthritis, which is seen in 60 to 75% of cases of rheumatic fever. And the next most affected organ is the heart. But the severity of arthritis the severity of carditis is much higher than the severity of arthritis. That is, if rheumatic fever is causing rheumatic carditis, it causes very severe damage to heart than if it attacks the joint. So William Boyd, one scientist, he once said rheumatism leaks the joint but bites the whole heart. That is, what he wanted to say was, if rheumatism affects the joints, the amount of damage it will cause to the joints. In the other hand, if it attacks the heart, the damage which is caused by it to the heart is much more higher. Next, we will see its epidemiology and the other signs and symptoms. So একবার রিক্যাপ করে দিচ্ছি ব্যাপারটাকে। তো রিউমেটিক ফিভার কি না, অ্যাজ এ ডেফিনেশন আমরা ফার্স্ট দেখেছিলাম ডেফিনেশন, তারপর ডেফিনেশনকে ব্রেক ডাউন করে প্রত্যেকটা পার্ট ওয়াইজ আমরা দেখেছি তার মেকানিজম। তো ডেফিনেশনের মধ্যে সবথেকে ইম্পর্টেন্ট স্টেটমেন্ট কি ছিল? ইট ইজ আ ইনফ্লেমেটরি ডিজিজ রিজাল্টিং ফ্রম অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন। অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন মানে আমাদের বডির ইমিউন সিস্টেম আমাদের বডিকেই আবার ড্যামেজ করছে। দিস ইজ কল্ড অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন। অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন টু হোয়াট? না, টু ইনফেকশন উইথ গ্রুপ A beta hemolytic streptococci. So what was happening? The environment থেকে গ্রুপ A beta hemolytic streptococcal ইনফেকশন আসছিল হোস্টে, সেটা আমাদের আপার এয়ারওয়ে কে এফেক্ট করছিল। That is streptococcal pharyngitis or anything may happen. So streptococcal pharyngitis যে কোনো অন্য ইনফেকশনের মতোই এটাও ইমিউন সিস্টেমকে অ্যাক্টিভেট করবে। ইমিউন সিস্টেম will try to destroy the bacteria by targeting the M protein and N-acetyl glucosamine of streptococcal carbohydrate. তো এটা ম্যাক্সিমাম হোস্টের ক্ষেত্রে, that is 95 to 97% of host ইমিউন সিস্টেম only ব্যাকটেরিয়াটাকে destroy করার ট্রাই করে। In 3 to 5%, only 3 to 5% genetically susceptible host, সেখানে কি হচ্ছে না, ইমিউন সিস্টেম ব্যাকটেরিয়াল অ্যান্টিজেন আর বডি অ্যান্টিজেনের মধ্যে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করতে পারছে না। এই থিওরিটিকে বলা হয় মলিকিউলার মিমিক্রি থিওরি। এটা ছাড়াও আরো অনেক থিওরি আছে, বাট মোস্ট কমনলি আর মোস্ট অ্যাকসেপ্টেড থিওরি ইজ মলিকিউলার মিমিক্রি থিওরি। তার মাধ্যমে কি হচ্ছে না, এই ইমিউনোলজিক সিস্টেম বডির বিভিন্ন পার্টকেই টার্গেট করছে, যেমন হার্ট, মেইনলি জয়েন্টস, তারপর হার্ট, দেন সেন্ট্রাল নার্ভাস সিস্টেম, তারপর স্কিন এন্ড subcutaneous tissue. The first streptococcal infection, then activation of immunologic system, then first rheumatic fever হচ্ছে, which is acute rheumatic fever. Now যদি continuous or repeated infection হতে থাকে বা continuous infection চলতে থাকে, then there will be recurrent rheumatic fever, and with this recurrence of rheumatic fever, more and more damage will be there to joints, heart, central nervous system and skin. এবার এই যে অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন, সেটা আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি মোর দ্যান ওয়ান সিস্টেম, মানে আমাদের বডি যত সিস্টেম আছে তার মধ্যে মোর দ্যান ওয়ান সিস্টেমকে এফেক্ট করছে। তাই ইট ইজ এ মাল্টিসিস্টেমিক ডিসঅর্ডার। তো মাল্টিসিস্টেমিক ডিসঅর্ডারের মধ্যে ফার্স্ট এন্ড মোস্ট কমন এফেক্টেড ইজ জয়েন্টস। তো ইনফ্লেমেশন অফ জয়েন্টস ইজ কল্ড পলিআর্থ্রাইটিস, যেটা 60 to 75% অফ কেসেস দেখা যায়। নেক্সট হচ্ছে হার্ট, 50 to 60% কেসে। নেক্সট সিএনএস, সেন্ট্রাল নার্ভাস সিস্টেম, যেখানে দেখতে পাচ্ছি আমরা কোরিয়া, সেটা হচ্ছে less than 2 to 30% কেসে, and less than 5% কেস স্কিন এন্ড সাবকিউটেনিয়াস টিস্যু এফেক্টেড হচ্ছে। যদিও আমাদের জয়েন্টস, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য লার্জ জয়েন্টস আর মেইনলি এফেক্টেড, কিন্তু যে সমস্ত কেসে কার্ডিয়াক ইনভলভমেন্ট রয়েছে, রিউমেটিক ফিভারের কার্ডিয়াক ইনভলভমেন্ট রয়েছে, দ্যাট ইজ কার্ডাইটিস অকারিং, দ্য সিভিয়ারিটি অফ কার্ডাইটিস ইজ ভেরি মাচ হায়ার দ্যান দ্য সিভিয়ারিটি অফ পলিআর্থ্রাইটিস। এই জন্য উইলিয়াম বয়েড, একজন সায়েন্টিস্ট, তিনি একসময় একটা স্টেটমেন্ট দিয়েছিলেন। সেই স্টেটমেন্টটা ছিল রিউমেটিজম লিকস দ্য জয়েন্ট বাট বাইটস দ্য হোল হার্ট, মানে জয়েন্টকে যতটা ক্ষতি করছে তার থেকে অনেক বেশি ক্ষতি করবে যদি এটা হার্টকে এফেক্ট করে। এরপর আমরা দেখবো এটা এপিডেমিওলজি। এতক্ষণ আমরা দেখলাম কি না রিউমেটিক ফিভারের ক্ষেত্রে কি হচ্ছে না আমাদের বডি ইমিউন সিস্টেম ব্যাকটেরিয়াল অ্যান্টিজেন আর বডির ওন অ্যান্টিজেনের মধ্যে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করতে পারছে না, তার জন্য অটোইমিউন রিঅ্যাকশন হচ্ছে, যাকে আমরা রিউমেটিক ফিভার বলছি। আর এই থিওরিটাকে বলা হচ্ছে মলিকিউলার মিমিক্রি থিওরি। দ্যাট ইজ মিমিক্রি মিন্স কি দুটোর মধ্যে পার্থক্য না করতে পারে। মিমিক্রি মিন্স একটা অন্যটার একই রকম। Now we will see epidemiology, that is which age group or which gender is more susceptible to the reaction. So first, the initial attack of rheumatic fever, that is more common in school aged children, that is in age group of 5 to 14 years. Initial episodes are more common in this age group, but the recurrent episode, that is the recurrence of rheumatic fever, is most common in adolescents and young adults. In adolescents and young adults, initial episodes are less common. In rheumatic heart disease, in case of rheumatic heart disease, because it is occurring much later than the acute rheumatic fever, so rheumatic fever most commonly occurs in the age group of 25 to 40 years. Rheumatic fever has no gender association. In contrast to rheumatic fever, rheumatic heart disease has gender association. It is more common in females. Next is its clinical features. Next is the clinical features of rheumatic fever. So clinical features of rheumatic fever appears after 2 to 3 weeks after streptococcal pharyngitis. That is the latency period is 2 to 3 weeks, because you all know it is an autoimmune reaction to the infection. So the whole procedure will take some time. That will not just happen next day after the streptococcal pharyngitis. The streptococcal pharyngitis will activate the immune system, then immune system will attack the body organs, and the whole procedure will take time, and this time is 2 to 3 weeks. Now we will see the clinical features as well as the diagnostic criteria according to the clinical features, which is called the Jones criteria. So the scientist Jones or Dr. Jones gave a criteria in 1944 to diagnose rheumatic fever, and in the later part it has been modified many times, and the most recent modification was done on 2015, according to which it has major criteria and minor criteria. And in major and minor criteria, again there is two subgroups. One is low risk population and other one is moderate and high risk population. So first major criteria in low risk population is carditis, that is inflammation of cardiac tissue. It may be epicardium or myocardium or pericardium, that is pancarditis. The hallmark of rheumatic fever is valvulitis, that is the most common valve, which is the most commonly affected valve is the mitral valve. The mitral valve is most commonly affected in carditis. In case of rheumatic fever with mitral valve, there may be involvement of aortic valve or may not be, and aortic valve alone, involvement of aortic valve alone is rare. The most common and the hallmark feature of carditis in rheumatic fever is mitral regurgitation, that is mitral valvulitis. In moderate and high risk subgroup, again the criteria is same: carditis, clinical or subclinical. So clinical or subclinical, clinical means the features are present clinically. That means on auscultation there will be some murmur caused by mitral regurgitation. Or subclinical, that means the clinical signs may be absent but when we will do the diagnostic test like echocardiography, we will see there is the symptom is present, that is called the subclinical. Next is arthritis, that is the inflammation of joint. In low risk population, arthritis is only polyarthritis, that means more than one joint are involved. In moderate to high risk population, there may be monoarthritis or polyarthritis, or there may be polyarthralgia. So what is arthritis and arthralgia? Arthritis is inflammation of joint, that is there will be redness, heat, pain, and there will be altered mobility of the joints. Mainly the large joints are involved. Large joints means the elbow joints, the hip joints, the knee joints. So mainly the large joints are involved. Small joints are not usually involved. And arthralgia means there is pain in the joint, but there is no inflammation. In arthritis, there is inflammation causing the pain. In arthralgia, there is pain but without inflammation. Next criteria is chorea for both the subgroup chorea or Sydenham's chorea. This is the involuntary movement of extremities. Next is erythema marginatum. Now erythema marginatum, it is the involvement of skin. It begins as a pink macules that occur centrally with a clear central part and wavy outer border, and it spreads with time, and this rash is also appears and disappears with time. Next is subcutaneous nodules. Subcutaneous nodules are painless and occurs as a small mobile lumps beneath the skin, overlying the bony prominences of our body. That is same for the moderate and high risk population. So তাহলে কি মেজর ক্রাইটেরিয়া কি ছিল? ফার্স্ট ছিল কার্ডিয়াইটিস, দ্যাট ইজ ইনফ্লামেশন অফ হার্ট। ইনফ্লামেশন অফ হার্টের মধ্যে সাবটাইপ ছিল ক্লিনিক্যাল or subclinical. In both subtype, that is present. Clinical means features are clinically present, that is on auscultation there is some murmurs. Or subclinical means clinical it is not, there is no clinical features, but when we will perform diagnostic tests like echocardiography, we will see the features. So carditis er moddhe carditis or pancarditis, that means all the layers of heart, that is endocardium, myocardium, pericardium, all the layers can be involved. কিন্তু হলমার্ক ফিচার মানে মেইন যে পার্ট ইনভলভ থাকে হার্টের, সেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের মাইট্রাল ভালভ। মাইট্রাল ভালভে কি দেখা যায় না, মাইট্রাল রিগার্জিটেশন। এটা হচ্ছে রিউমেটিক ফিভারের রিউমেটিক হার্ট ডিজিজের হলমার্ক ক্রাইটেরিয়া, রিউমেটিক ফিভারের হলমার্ক ক্রাইটেরিয়া এই মাইট্রাল ভালভ ইনভলভমেন্ট থাকবে। নেক্সট ছিল আর্থ্রাইটিস। তো লো রিস্ক পপুলেশন আর হাই রিস্ক পপুলেশনের মধ্যে পার্থক্য কিছু না। লো রিস্ক পপুলেশনে অনলি পলিআর্থ্রাইটিস থাকবে, মানে মোর দ্যান ওয়ান জয়েন্ট ইনভলভ থাকবে। কিন্তু মডারেট টু হাই রিস্ক পপুলেশনে কি ছিল না, মোনো অর পলিআর্থ্রাইটিস মে বি প্রেজেন্ট উইথ দ্যাট পলিআর্থ্রালজিয়া অলসো প্রেজেন্ট। তো আর্থ্রাইটিস কি ছিল না, আর্থ্রাইটিসে পেইন ছিল ডিউ টু দ্য ইনফ্লামেশন। সো ইনফ্লামেশন পেইন ছাড়া আরো যে সিম্পটমস থাকে সেই সমস্ত সাইন্স থাকবে, লাইক রেডনেস, হিট, tenderness, all will be present. Again in moderate and high risk population, arthritis will be present, but in this case monoarthritis may also be present or polyarthritis will be present. And polyarthralgia is pain in joints but without the inflammation. Chorea or Sydenham's chorea, that is involuntary movement of joints, মানে কোনো ইন্টেনশনাল মুভমেন্ট নয়, ইনভলান্টারি মুভমেন্ট অফ এক্সট্রিমিটিস। আর নেক্সট ছিল এরিথেমা মার্জিনেটাম। এরিথেমা মার্জিনেটাম হচ্ছে পিঙ্ক কালারের ড্যাশের মতো, যার সেন্ট্রাল পার্টটা ছিল পেল, সেন্ট্রাল পার্ট পেল থাকে আর তার সাথে ওয়েভি আর স্প্রেডিং আউটার মার্জিন থাকে। আর সাবকিউটেনিয়াস নোডিউল, দে আর পেইনলেস nodules mainly present in the part of our bony prominence. Next we will see the minor criteria. Next minor criteria মধ্যে low risk population, moderate and high risk population. So in low risk population there will be polyarthralgia. In moderate and high risk population there will be monoarthralgia. I have already mentioned what is arthralgia. Polyarthralgia means arthralgia in more than one joint. Monoarthralgia means arthralgia in one joint. Next is fever. In low risk population, fever will be greater or equal to 38.5 degrees centigrade, while in moderate to high risk population, fever will be greater or equal to 38 degree. In low risk population, erythrocyte sedimentation rate will be greater or equal to 60 millimeter in first hour. And oblique or means either one of them is present or both of them are present. So erythrocyte sedimentation rate is greater or equal to 60 millimeter in first hour, and oblique or CRP, that is C-reactive protein, amount of C-reactive protein is greater than or equal to 3 mg per dl, 3 milligram per dl. In moderate and high risk population, ESR is greater or equal to 30 millimeter per hour, and oblique or CRP is greater or equal to 3 mg per dl. And in both cases, in ECG there will be prolonged PR interval. Now how we will diagnose? So diagnosis is for all patient population except evidence of preceding group A streptococcal infection. That means for all patient population with evidence of preceding group A streptococcal infection, মানে সমস্ত পেশেন্টদের ক্ষেত্রে যাদের ক্ষেত্রে হিস্ট্রি আছে গ্রুপ এ স্ট্রেপ্টোকক্কাল ইনফেকশনে, প্রিভিয়াস গ্রুপ এ স্ট্রেপ্টোকক্কাল ইনফেকশনে, তাদের ক্ষেত্রে ডায়াগনোসিস কিভাবে হবে এই ক্লিনিক্যাল ফিচার অনুযায়ী? না, ডায়াগনোসিস হবে ইনিশিয়াল এআরএফ, দ্যাট ইজ ইনিশিয়াল অ্যাকিউট রিউমেটিক ফিভার, মানে রিউমেটিক ফিভারের ফার্স্ট অ্যাটাক কোন ক্ষেত্রে? না যে ক্ষেত্রে আইদার two major criteria are present, or one major plus two minor criteria are present. And recurrent ARF, that is recurrent acute rheumatic fever, the recurrence of acute rheumatic fever will be diagnosed in case of either two major criteria are present, or one major plus two minor criteria are present, or three minor criteria are present. This is all about the modified Jones criteria and the clinical features of rheumatic fever. Next are the risk factors. So before starting the risk factor, I would like to mention one thing, that all the organs which are inflamed, we are watching all the organs like our heart, our joints, mainly synovial joints or large joints, skin and subcutaneous tissue, and central nervous system. All these systems were inflamed, but in all cases no pus formation was there. So this disease was called non-suppurative. The term was used in definition, non-suppurative. This term was used because of that there is inflammation but there is no pus formation. So the disease is non-suppurative. Next are the risk factors. First is environmental risk factors. We can say that it is a disease of poverty, because it is mainly seen in the places which are overcrowded, which have overcrowded living conditions, where the economy of people are very low, that is where there is very poverty, in rural and urban slum residents, and subtropical and tropical regions with cold and damp climate. In healthcare related risk factors, first is the asymptomatic infection, that is the first attack of streptococcus, that is streptococcal sore throat, was asymptomatic. So the diagnosis was not done and the infection and the recurrence of infection was not prevented. Next was failure to seek health care for sore throat, again due to poverty. Next is inadequate treatment and diagnosis of streptococcal pharyngitis and treatment failure. In host related factors, there may be clustering of disease in family, that is family history, occurrence in identical twins, and individual with HLA class 2 alleles. Again, in the definition we have seen that only in 3 to 5% cases in genetic, where there is genetic predominance, the rheumatic fever occurs after primary streptococcal upper respiratory tract infection. This is the allele which is responsible for that HLA class 2 alleles. Next we will see the diagnostic tests and the treatment. Next the test. So for all cases we will see for whole blood WBC count, ESR, CRP, ECG, chest X-ray and echocardiography. With that, throat swab culture, preferably before giving the antibiotic, anti-streptococcal serology, both anti-streptolysine O and anti-DNase B titers, and this test should be repeated after 10 to 14 days. Next, test for special cases or test for alternative diagnosis, that is first is the joint aspirate microscopy and culture, and next is serology and autoimmune markers for arboviral autoimmune or reactive arthritis. Next is the treatment. The main treatment, the antibiotic, penicillin is the drug of choice. Benzathine penicillin G, 1.2 million unit or 6 lakh units for children under 27 kg. This should be given intramuscular IM. Next is salicylates and NSAIDs. This is used to treat the pain caused by arthritis or arthralgia. Again, the arthritis and arthralgia is mainly inflammation of the large joints, and it is migratory in nature, especially migratory in nature. That means it moves from one joint to other joint over some hours. So characteristic of rheumatic arthritis is it is migratory and affects mainly the large joints. So to treat the pain, aspirin is the drug of choice. Again, it is very sensitive to aspirin. This is also used in sometimes to diagnose if the arthritis is due to the rheumatic fever or not, because it is very much sensitive to aspirin. Aspirin is given at 50 to 60 milligram per kg per day, dose up to maximum 80 to 100 mg per kg per day, and the dose is divided in 4 to 5 doses. And alternative to aspirin, naproxen can be given at 1 to 2 mg per kg per day up to maximum 8 mg, and it is divided in 2 doses, that is twice daily. To relieve chorea, carbamazepine or sodium valproate is preferred over haloperidol. In severe to refractory cases, corticosteroids are given. Next and the last one is prevention, primary prevention. So the mainstay of primary prevention is avoidance of the risk factors, mainly the overcrowded housing. In maximum of the cases that cannot be done, so the mainstay of the prevention becomes the prophylaxis, that is every time patient gets sore throat due to group epidemiologic streptococci, the full course of treatment should be done. And secondary prevention is again benzathine penicillin 1.2 million unit or 6 lakh unit for children less than 27 kg body weight should be continued up to 21 years of age and should be given in a 3 weeks gap. Next, the last one is question answer format. In question, as a question answer, you will first write down the definition. Definition. Next, there will be pathogenesis. Sorry. Next, there will be causative organism. Next, pathogenesis in schematic diagram. Next, the epidemiology. Under epidemiology, only just mention that 5 to 14 years of age group is most vulnerable to this rheumatic fever. Only mention that will be enough. Next, there is clinical features. In clinical features, write down the modified Jones criteria 2015. Next, risk factors. Tests. Treatment and prevention. And if you have enough time in hand during exam, then in clinical features mention about the carditis. In carditis, remember to mention main feature is involvement of mitral valve, that is mitral regurgitation. In case of joint involvement, that is polyarthritis. Remember to mention it is migratory in nature and mainly affects large joints. These 2 points, if you have enough time, then please mention that in exam. So that will be enough, I guess, for your answer. So this is all about the session. Thank you. Take care and stay happy.